What's going on, motivators? Super excited today. Another weekday podcast, little leadership jam session. But I think that it's kind of fun to do these not on a regular interval because my experience in the military, and one of my favorite things that I always said was so much work got done at breakfast in the Chiefs mess. It's where all of the senior enlisted leaders sit down and have chow together, whether it be breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And we do a lot of sitting around and just talking. And there's all these different rates sitting around the table who are responsible for all the junior sailors on the ship. And when someone says they have a problem, normally there's another person from another rating or another department who have the answer or the manpower to support that. And it's not always on a Saturday morning or always on a Wednesday morning. It's just randomly. It could be a breakfast, lunch, or dinner. So a lot gets done just sitting around the table having a leadership jam session. And that's kind of what this podcast is all about. And that's why I have Marina on board today. I'm really excited to have her here. She spent, I don't know, the math, I hope I have it right, looks like 24 years in the Navy. And now her passion is working for a nonprofit, which she has her own as well. And she is working with 4 Block and Military Women's Collective. I can't wait to talk to her about that. And let's bring her on without further ado. Hey, Marina, what's going on?
What's up? Oh my gosh, I was literally like in the background jamming to the intro music. I was like, ah!
Yeah. So I don't know if I've ever given my buddy credit. That is one of a kind. One of my good friends from high school is into guitars and has always played the guitar. And I wanted some original music that I couldn't get copyrighted violations on. So I said, hey man, can you create me this? And I sent him I think the guy's name is Jack Johnson. He's a big YouTube guitar player guy. And he's like, man, that guy's amazing. Let me see if I can even try something like that. And about 2 years ago, he created that for me. And that's been awesome. The Leadership Jam Session opening music ever since. So he wants to improve it.
Me in the background because I was thinking.
Yeah. So credit to Nick Pino if he's listening. He's one of my biggest supporters. Really lives just down the road here now. He's actually, him and a few other of my friends are the reason why I moved back to Ohio, and my family, who my mom's right up the road. But yeah. Credit to Nick Pino, my heavy metal buddy.
I've been kind of getting back into heavy metal recently. This is like totally a tangent, but there's this really funny anime it's a Japanese called Agretsuko, and it's this little like red panda, and when she gets upset, she gets all like death metal and like her voice. So I'm gonna try to do what she does, but it's like rah 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 rah. That's what her voice sounds
like. That might be my spirit animal. I'm not sure. I'll have to.
Little red panda, and she just goes like, oh my god.
Yeah. That's pretty much what happens in my head when I get mad. So maybe I need to look this thing up and figure it out. Well, so there's no real format. There's no real requirement. I just like to sit down and talk for 45 minutes to an hour with folks. And then, we glean out of it, maybe some little nuggets of knowledge that people can use, not just, in the military or in transitioning, but in their everyday lives. So wherever we go, I really want to talk to you. Maybe we'll just start it off talking about your passions, because that's what we were talking about off camera before the show started, was that, you have found your why, right? That's what you said. You took a test and you found your why, and now you're just zeroing in on what your why is and trying and doing that for the rest of your life, right? So let's talk about the Military Women's Collective and what you do in your retirement and how you're using that.
So, Military Women's Collective, it kind of has a two-prong approach. Um, it's, I started it back in 21. I was retiring from the Navy um, after 24 years, and I thought, I really feel like there are not enough resources for transitioning military women or women veterans, and so I created this platform to assist active duty women to transition out into careers that they love, and then also the second part of it is to assist homeless and food insecure women veterans here in my local area. So I live up in Riverside County, which is the next county above San Diego, and you know LA, uh, it- that whole area, like California has one of the biggest homeless veteran populations in all of the US. I mean, I think the other 2 are maybe like Texas and Florida. It's those huge states, right?
Hmm.
Um, and I just felt like deep in my soul, I'm like, I need to do something, you know, because I mean, like you said off camera, we were talking about that. My purpose is to be of service to others,
Hmm.
but especially those in the military community. And I I just felt this need to give back, and that's how I do it. I mean, I go out and I've partnered up with another nonprofit up here, another, believe it or not, retired chief. Her and I went and we've gone and distributed food, and I've distributed like hygiene bags and things like that. And I'm just, oh, thank you, Heather.
She's obviously my biggest fan. She always watches these because she has no choice, but she's got her own business as well, and her motto is she's the servant leader to servant leaders. So she's
Ooh, I love
an
that.
executive assistant, and serving others is a household passion. You
Hmm.
know, I'm trying to find a way to myself develop, motivate with is beyond. I just got certified in personal training, and I've found a passion. I'm helping my cousin, actually. She's on a very long road to health, and we're going to help her find her way to a much better, healthier lifestyle. And
Nice.
so people with, morbid obesity is something that I've found that I think I have a passion for. And then the other piece I'd like to do is work with young people who want to serve in the
Mm,
military, police force, fire department, and haven't lived maybe the most healthy life or aren't quite where they need to be.
to
Um,
get in.
right, right, to
Yeah,
get in, or I'm actually meeting with a young man who's already in the Army and wants to be an Army Ranger. I'm meeting with him next week, and we're going to develop a program to help him
nice.
achieve that. And those are his goals. So
That's
those are the
amazing.
kind of things that on that part of Motivate with is I'd like to do. But the coaching, leadership, coaching, and folks, and this is a problem I think in the military. Maybe this will be a bit of a transition in the conversation. I always found it very funny that we would be an E4 or an E5, a third class, second class, or even a first class, and we do a better job with chiefs going from first to chief. But the test results come back, and now you're a second class petty officer, or now you're a
Uh,
first class petty officer, and all of a sudden you're so much more responsible today than you were yesterday.
yep.
Everyone looks at you that way, and you have no idea what to do with that new pay grade.
Mhm.
You thought, "Oh, well, when I'm that or when I'm this," and civilians go through this too, right? Like today
Absolutely.
I'm working on the assembly line, tomorrow I'm the manager of the line, and then they're lost and they have no idea how to be a leader or how to integrate, or even maybe separate themselves, because we do a really good job for the most part. I mean, some people don't know how to take that. From you go one day I'm is, and the next day it's no, I'm Chief Isbell. Yeah, you got to find a way to make that separation and have that conversation with your friends that are still petty officers. So
Yep.
that you lived through that,
Oh, yeah.
and so yeah, that leadership coaching, I think there's a need for that and a desire for that, not only in the military, but in the civilian world. And then finally, motivational speaking is a passion of mine. I love talking to people. So
Absolutely.
that's Motivate with Iz in a nutshell. I'm taking over. I really should be talking about you, but let's talk about that. Let's talk about real quick. Let's go back to Military Women's Collective.
Yes.
How does one help you out?
Oh, how does one help me out? Well, I mean, there's many ways to donate, and I don't just mean that fiscally, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like donate your time. Uh, if there's any kind of food or clothing that you want to donate, absolutely. Those are the kind of things that we're wanting because I want to be able there's I mean, gosh, there's so many things I wanna do with MWC, like,
Yeah.
I there's the retreats that I want to build for women veterans, but right now, we just don't have the funding to do that because I wanna go from here where I'm at in California up to, like, Big Bear or something and get a big Airbnb and have, like, 10 women veterans. Do I have an Amazon wish list? I do. It's under Military Women's Collective, Heather. But I know they're getting rid of Amazon Smiles soon, which is Amazon. I'm not happy about that. But yeah, I do. I absolutely do. And I can get the information about that for you. Um, but yeah, the types of things, like I said, I want to do. I want to, bring them up to Big Bear, and we'll stay in a big Airbnb, and then we'll go hiking, and then we'll come back, and then we'll talk about different issues that women veterans have, or transitioning military women have, and then we'll have a great meal, and then the next day we'll go out on the water, and or whatever like just to have connection, because I feel that is one of the biggest reasons that we lose so many of our friends, and I know you know what I'm talking about, is
Yeah.
that we lose so many of our people is because they lose that camaraderie, that sense of camaraderie, that sense of purpose. I mean, that is, I think, one of the biggest things about the military, that when you leave, that's what you lose, and you're like, oh my god, what do I do now? Like, I don't know anybody anymore, and I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing, and it's a culture shock.
Yeah.
It's like moving to Japan for the first time and then moving back and being like, what happened in the US while I was gone, or
Right.
vice versa, right?
Yeah. I'm still living it today. I'm a year out, literally.
I've been like 2 years. I
Yeah.
March 1st was my 730-day mark.
Oh, wow.
You know?
Yeah. I, I don't, I first, let me just do some caveat here. I hate buzzwords, right?
Mm.
So words like space and all these or tribe, right? Tribe's a new one that everyone loves to use, but I
But
think that
I have to
it's
say
fitting.
tribe.
It's fitting.
Somebody actually got me a tribe. Look, it's a tribe necklace. It's a little,
Oh,
like a little teepee with a little diamond. This is
yeah,
mine. I do have a tribe though. It's called my Wonder Woman tribe. There's like 7 of us that are
right.
all, yeah, but okay, I'm
No,
sorry.
no, 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 no.
Continue.
But I was about to admit that the word fits, right? And like I said, I moved home seeking what I thought was my tribe, and
Mhm.
found, and I'm finding, honestly, and I love these guys. I do. I moved home thinking, high school buddies. He's gonna I got a license plate that doesn't say Command Master Chief on it. It says just is, because I just wanted to be is. I wanted to come to a place where people didn't look at me as a twin screw. I was over it. I wore Master Chief anchors for 15 years, and I was kind of
Wow.
over being a Master Chief. And now I'm finding my way back to it, going, call me Master Chief, because it's a good interaction with people, and then it starts conversations. And I'm spending a lot of time in local gyms now, and I'm finding, thanks, Bill. I'm finding that having a tribe is really what we lose when we take our uniform off, because it's
100%.
automatic. It's already
Yep.
there. It's forged into our DNA as military members. And then when you
Yeah.
get out, poof, it's gone.
Yep.
And yeah, and it sucks.
It
It
does.
really does.
I mean, to
It's
put it in a
painful.
word, it sucks ass, yes. I
Yeah,
mean, it really does, it's our oh my god, yes.
yeah.
Absolutely, Bill. It is so our armor, like, I used to tell people that and that's the thing about gosh, I'm going on another tangent, but I feel like that's another thing for we're talking about, like I'm talking about, like, women in the military too. Not only is it an armor, it's almost a mask,
Hmm.
because one of the things that I noticed, um, being in and then being out now was that I kinda used to wear my military status like a shield or armor or like a mask to, to portray that toughness because in the military, women need to be tougher to be seen, as somebody to listen to. Yes, I'm knife handing.
Yeah.
But, as somebody to listen to, right?
Feel at home. I feel at home.
Yeah, right? Like, "What is that?" "Ooh, it's a knife hand."
Yeah.
"Oh, knife hand karate." But, yeah, and then I realized, I can take that mask off now. I don't need to have that on anymore. I can just be, blue-haired me, right? I can finally be Marina, and that is what's great. Like what you were saying about being just is. I think that's the hardest part of getting out of the military is figuring out who the hell we are.
Mhm.
Like I did not who I know I'm talking about myself in third person, but I did not know who Marina was. Like I was Chief Rabinek. I was, the equal opportunity person, on at my commands, and I didn't know who I was anymore or what I wanted to do. Like, what did I want to be when I grew up? I don't know. I had to figure that out, and it took me. So I retired in 21, March 1st of 21. I started my transition, probably I think it was like November of 19 is when I started getting on LinkedIn and started introducing myself to people and
Right.
started actually volunteering, and that's a huge thing that I think more military members need to do before they get out is get connected to those military focused nonprofits. And, I'm here in California, I've got tons that I can give people in California, but, like, nationwide, I'm talking about things like Team Red, White, and Blue or The Mission Continues or, what's the other one? What's the one that does disaster relief? Is that The Mission Continues? I'm trying to remember. The gray shirts.
Isn't that I
Oh my
don't
gosh,
know.
why did I just forget the name?
I don't know.
But
For some reason I see an eagle in my head. I don't know
The
why, but
Eagles Team Red, White, and Blue. The
is
red,
it?
white yeah, that's
Okay.
Team RWB.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's so many resources out there, and that's one of the things that I love to do when I do, like, mentorship calls with people is ask them, "What are you looking for post-military?" So that I can tailor resources to you. Because if they're looking to do something like, like disaster recovery or things like that, then, hey, I'm gonna aim them towards like FEMA and stuff like that, right?
Mhm.
But if they want to do something different, then I'm gonna look at what I've got and tailor it to them that way.
I could tell you that, I you talk about it being a mask, like you said that your identity was wrapped around being chief.
Mhm.
I would tell you that personally, over time, because I was a command master chief for an extended period, that I actually lost my identity personally.
Yeah.
This is kind of me opening up my chest here a little bit, but um, a little bit of vulnerability here. Like by the time I retired, I didn't know myself anymore. Like it wasn't
Yes.
me. It was what I thought the Navy needed, or or what the Navy was looking for, or what I had to be as a command master chief.
Yep.
So what the last year for me has been in transition is trying to figure out, I guess it's trying to find my way back to who I am.
Mm-hmm.
Now, who I am is not the most, and I think this is why I had to change so much as a command master chief, is because who I am is a pretty aggressive, pretty in your face, tell it like it is without much, with a lot of abrasive words in conversation that, uh, but and I got a mirror that I got when I went to Navy Senior Leadership Symposium out in Monterey. And the mirror says, excuse me, the mirror says, would you be proud to tell your family who you are today? And I think it also says, what got you here won't get you there. Right.
Mm.
So a lot of what I was told in leadership training was you have to adjust and grow as a leader. And maybe what made you successful isn't going to gain you much more success.
Right.
I think I took that the wrong way, though. I basically washed away all the stuff that got me where I was instead of building upon what got me where I was.
Ooh.
So I may be an abrasive cat, or an in your face cat, and I tell it like it is cat. And then I started to go, well, I just won't say what I think I need to say. And I stopped doing the stuff that got me there. Instead, I needed to build on that and be a little bit more
Tactful?
Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. Tactful. I think
Oh,
I should have
yes,
been
I've heard that word before.
now, many people that knew me at the end of my career probably wouldn't have said that I was very tactful, but they didn't know what I really wanted to say, which was probably way worse. So
Yeah.
I am finding my way back to myself. And I think we all need to do that, especially
Mhm.
those who are in an extended period of time, need to find their way back to what got them there in the first place.
Yep.
I think it's okay. So,
I mean, if you think about it, the military is, or any first responder, because I kind of consider military as first responders.
sure.
All in that LE, law enforcement, and the firefighters and ambulance and EMT, all that. Our purpose, I mean, it's literally written on the side of vehicles and stuff, like, is to protect and to serve.
Mm-hmm.
Why did I just go? My brain just went to protect and serve. What is the Sylvester Stallone, Sandra Bullock movie?
Oh, yeah.
Not Judge Dredd. It's Demolition Man.
Demolition Man.
Protect
Yeah,
and serve.
yeah.
I don't know my ADHD brain. It's my but
the three seashells. I still don't.
yes. What are the three seashells? I need to know what that is. Oh my gosh, he doesn't know what the three seashells are.
Yeah.
I love that movie so much. But no, I mean, it really is to serve the nation, and then that's a huge purpose, right? To protect and serve the nation, and then when you go to your next thing, gosh, like, it's a step down, right? Like, you
Yeah.
just were doing that for, I mean, you and I both, for a couple decades plus, right? And it's, you have to figure out now, what is it that's
Purpose.
going to take the
Yeah.
place of that
Yeah.
huge purpose. And for me, it was to give back to those people. I wanted to create a legacy, is really what it is. Wanted to create a legacy of service, of being able to help people, get into a career that they are proud of, that is meaningful, that is purposeful.
Mm-hmm.
And same thing with, figuring out where they can volunteer, or how they can volunteer. And that's just, that's what I felt in my heart. It's what feeds my soul. I say that all the time. It's what feeds my soul. And I don't know. I really am so glad that I didn't go with the first thing that I thought I wanted to do, and that I did what people were telling me. Hey, do those informational interviews. Okay. Get that 15-minute cup of coffee or virtual cup of coffee, and find out what it is that people are doing in the job that they have, or the career that they have, and find out if that's really what you want to do. Because if it's not, you're not going to feel purposeful, and that's going to lead to depression
Mhm.
and could lead to other things, which, and I feel that some of the friends that I have lost that did retire, I think it's because they lost that, what we said in the beginning, that sense of camaraderie and that sense of purpose.
Yeah.
And it just, like, when you lose that, where do you go from there? Like,
Right.
you
I
you have to claw your way back up and be like, hey, I
mm,
need help, and I want to join up with other people that feel the same way.
I yes. First and foremost, yes, 100%. If I was, I wish we had the emoji thing. I could just type 100 on here, but so I had two great jobs in the last 12 months. Nestle hired me. This is going out on LinkedIn. So if anybody happens to come across this that I work for with Nestle, loved working there for 6 months. Uh, and the company's great. Okay. I worked at the factory. Part of my issue was I just didn't see myself going to the same, because I was in the Navy. I got to
Yeah,
travel the world. And then I saw my future. I got my crystal ball out and I saw my future, and I saw myself going to the same office for the next 5 to 10 years, doing the same thing. And I was like, ugh, I don't know if this is going to fit. So the other piece of Nestle that for me didn't fit was in the factory. I didn't feel the same
camaraderie.
family, right,
Mhm.
that I had in the Navy.
Yep,
Okay, moved on to another job. Worked for a small electrical company. Again, some of them are on LinkedIn or maybe on Facebook that see this, and or YouTube. And I loved some of the folks, and I loved the company, but again, did not feel like the same way I did. And it's not
mhm.
their fault. I would
No.
say this, and I would say this to anybody who's a civilian employer who has never had a military service member, retired or prior military service member working for them. They don't necessarily leave because the company stinks, or they just don't feel it. And I think that
Yeah.
we were used to something, and maybe it's not reproduced the same way. Okay, so
Yep.
not talking bad about A&R, and I'm not talking bad about Nestle. I'm just saying that me personally, I didn't have it there.
Yeah.
And a lot of the mentorship I've gotten, and maybe you can back me up on this because you've been out a year longer than me. A lot of the mentorship I've received is it's okay to move on, right? And we're not
Yep.
used to that. We're not used to
Oh,
walking away
yeah.
because we feel like we're failing.
Loyalty. It's
Yeah, and the
loyalty.
loyalty, yeah.
Oh my gosh, and that's the thing, like, now loyalty it's not as like what it was 20 years ago or maybe even 10 years ago. Now people are moving jobs like every 3 to 5 years, maybe
Mhm.
sometimes less, and this is not just military members, because, we see that all the stuff about military members can't, hold a job for the first couple of years. Hey, I'm same as you, man. I went with um I did a skill bridge, the internship at
Right.
a leadership certification company. Ended up getting let go from them because, anyway, I'm not going to talk about them, but ended up
I
getting
have
let
that
go
I have
from.
that certification.
Yeah, yeah, I know you do. Who was your instructor?
I, oh, what was his name?
Was was
That's
it Matt?
embarrassing. No. Oh, that's embarrassing. I can't remember his name.
But after
It was
that,
2 years ago, so
once I
I've
got
slept
let
since
go
then.
from them, and then I went, I put it out to my crew, my community, and I said, "Hey, I just got let go, me and the other girl that worked there." And, she ended up getting an amazing position with, like, it's called Aston Carter. And then I, of course, I didn't this wasn't 4 Block immediately. This was, another amazing place called Talents Ascend, which they don't use resumes for you to find positions. I mean, like, careers, it's awesome. I was with them for a little bit, but we kind of mutually decided that, hey, this is not what I need to be doing. I need to be with a nonprofit. And then luckily 4 Block was looking for people, and ta-da, I'm an
Mhm.
alumna. So it was kind of if the shoe fits, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um, I feel like I was really, really lucky, but I I know what you're saying, like that loyalty of, people working in a company for 30 years and getting the gold Rolex or whatever, right?
Right, right.
Um, I feel like it's not a thing anymore. Uh, yeah, I was really surprised that there was a couple companies that come and talk. Uh, they do the employers do the hosting for 4 Block, and there was a couple of people at a few of the companies that had been there for like 15 years, and they were veterans, and I was like, wow, it just
Yeah.
seemed like such a long time to be in a post military position, and I felt really happy for them. But like you said, it's hard. Like you want to be loyal to this company, but then you're like, it fit
That
doesn't
right,
fit me anymore. Like it
right.
just doesn't.
Yeah.
And I understand. I really do, because and I know there's so many veterans out there that completely understand what you're saying. It's what I would say is look into the nonprofit world and see if you can find something that makes more sense to you in that, and I'm going to use one of your buzzwords, in that space.
Oh, that's the one oh, it makes me cringe. How about in that environment? We use that for so many
Environment, yes,
decades.
exactly.
Now all
There
of a
you
sudden it's
go.
gotta be a
Environment is better.
space. Makes me cringe.
Space, space, space.
Oh. And where's the throwing up emoji? I don't know why. It's not it's so funny. It's like I used to make fun of the way we would change instructions in the military. I'd always say somebody got a NAM just for renaming a program the
Yeah.
exact same thing, and then or a renaming a command, and then 4 years later the command would go back to the original name.
Yep.
Somebody else would get a NAM for changing the name. I think we're doing the same thing with the English language, but every generation does it.
Mhm.
We steal different words, and
Like
yeah.
circling back and
Oh yeah.
piggybacking. I'm sure those are your most favorites.
Circle back is one that was just ruined by. I'm not a politics guy, but when the president's uh, uh, press secretary uses circle back constantly, and then it gets used over and over and over again, you just kind of go, "Oh, can we stop?" I don't like bluff. I don't like bottom line up front. I hate it. I hate bottom line up front. Just tell me. How about you just give me a synopsis and we move on? Oh yeah.
However, comma.
However, comma. Good one, Bill. Thanks, jerk.
Oh my gosh, I say that though. Bill, I'm sorry, but I do say however, comma. And Joseph,
Yeah,
I agree completely.
yeah,
This is getting a pretty epic beard. I mean, I'm waiting to see when it gets to like ZZ Top level.
yeah. I told my wife it's actually at the length where I said I was going to stop, but I'm not stopping. I'm definitely
Ever
going for
it's
the
gonna get
Viking look.
longer.
Yeah, much. Yeah, yeah. But thanks, Joseph. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I spend I spend more time in front of the mirror, I think, than she does now, and so it's kind of sad.
You know who and you're probably gonna laugh when I tell you this, but you know who you remind me of with your beard and your shaved head, is Kratos from God of War, the video game.
Oh, I will take that. I work out. I work really hard in the gym to have
There you
half
go.
of that physique, so I appreciate it. I'll take it. Somebody,
You need the
uh,
big red tattoo
yeah,
thing that he's
yeah.
got, right?
Some guy called me. We were at a bar a few weeks ago, and I walked away, and somebody leaned over to my friend and was like, "Is he a Viking?"
Is
And I
he a
went,
Viking?
"Really, dude?" But anyway, yeah.
You
Back
were
to
like,
you.
"Yes, yes, I
Yeah,
am."
yeah. Initially, I was like, "That's insulting," but then I was like, "No, that's actually not insulting. It's. I mean, our vision of what Vikings are, especially after being a war fighter for 29 years. I
Yeah.
think I'll take it. I think I'll take it. So you know what? I want to transition and talk about transitioning because we've kind of
Mm,
touched on a lot of that, and you talked about starting to get ready 2 years prior. I
Yes.
personally believe everyone should go through TAP at
Oh, yes.
15 years in. You know, to give you
I
actually
went through
like
at 10.
to shake you and go, hey, you're not ready.
Yeah.
I really do. I think it should be mandatory at 15 years to go through transition assistance program. And I think a lot of people go through TAP and they go, oh, I'm not ready, and then end up doing 2 or 3 more years. Those that are
Exactly.
wanting to retire. Oh, I don't have my degree. I don't have this. I don't have that. There's some stuff I need to have time. Take advantage of Navy Cool or Army Cool or whatever.
Yep.
So what other advice do you have, you know, similar to taking TAP more than just once, or getting ready 2 years early, those kind of things?
Gosh, I mean, some of the things that I did were to look into resources that really helped me narrow down my purpose. Are you okay with me giving names of
Oh
resources or
yeah, by all
okay.
means, name drop away, and if we have to, I could type them in the comments. I don't know if they might only be going to Facebook. I don't know if LinkedIn lets us
Yeah, I
do
only
it.
I see Facebook on here.
Yeah.
But so one of the main ones is called the Commit Foundation, and I'm actually going to show you. So they send you the yes, this is the workbook, but they will send you the book Designing Your Life. I got this extra, on my own from Amazon, but they'll send you that book. You will get an executive coach that is given to you. I don't know. That's not the word I was trying to think, but you know what I'm saying. Um, and then you will do something called Pursue Your Purpose. It is a phenomenal course that is online. They also do some in-person things as well. Um, Another one that I really recommend for finding that purpose is the Leader Transition Institute, LTI. My good friend Annie Brock, she's amazing. She's an Army veteran. Uh, and then the other one that I did, which really, really helped me with shifting my mindset, was something called Reboot. And Reboot you can do online. There's a bunch of them in here in California and in Virginia, and then for some reason in Missouri, because I guess that's like where Fort Leonard Wood and some of those places are. But um, there's an online one that you can do, and all three of those together really help me to narrow down. Here, I'm gonna I'm gonna read you something. So this was the purpose that I wrote down. This is like their old stuff, Leader Transition Institute, but it's called
Okay.
Changing Focus, Moving from Me to We, or excuse me, moving from we to me, because that's one thing that and I'm sure
Mm,
you know that too. We see in the military, we speak in we speak in team instead of speaking in me. And and people notice that when you're doing like interviews and stuff, they want to hear about what you did as part of the team, not just what the team did. um
mhm.
but so my purpose, to be an inspiring and intuitive agent of empowerment for others to find their own strengths and to help them through adversity and difficult transitions in life, to find growth and resilience by giving of myself and being of service, aka a badass. And
Does
that
it
was
say
that.
AKA badass on there? Because
Yes,
that's
it really
cool.
is. I wrote it like it's quite literally written on there. I'm dropping books everywhere. Don't mind
Okay.
me. But yeah, I literally was like, this is what I need to be doing. Like I need to be helping my brothers and sisters. And I don't just mean like when I say brothers and sisters, I'm not just talking like the Chiefs mess, right? I'm talking about
Sure.
every person, reservists, National Guard, military spouses, and
Yeah.
active duty veterans, anybody that has any connection to that military community.
Mhm.
I didn't say your buzzword. Um,
I
Anybody
love it.
that's connected to that military community, I want to help. And if I can't help, I designate myself, and now people have started calling it, but I designated myself a super connector because I love to connect people together. Because if I can't help you, I'm pretty sure I know somebody that can, and I
Yeah.
will connect you to them.
Yeah.
So
Right. Well, So I've already got tomorrow's TikTok video figured out, and I would tell you this, that I really want to highlight the fact that enlisted enlisted community, the all of enlisted sailors, army, soldiers, marines, airmen, coast
Yep.
guardsmen, they are, I think, an underrated talent in the civilian community, right? Everyone knows, well, you're an officer, you're a lieutenant. They know what a lieutenant is for the most part. They know what a captain is for the most part.
Yep.
They know what a commander is. Those terms hold a lot of weight in the civilian community. And
Oh, Heather, the third resource, sorry, is the third resource was Reboot. But to find it, you have to go to nvtsi.org. It's the National Veterans Transition Service Incorporated, I think is what. Yes, there you go. Yep.
all right. And good morning, Ashley. Love you, brother. Miss you, man. He's good. I could go on I could probably do a whole show talking about Ashley's big heart, but here he
Oh,
is. Good morning, all. He's a good dude. Push boot. He worked at RTC with me.
nice.
Anyway, so I believe that the enlisted community is underrated in the civilian world. There is no, and I had a long conversation with a gentleman from Nestle before I left
Yeah.
about figuring out how to translate what those different pay grades do equivalency in the civilian world, so that the layman who has no understanding, has never worked
Yeah.
with the military before, understands the value that's brought to the table from the not the entire military community. But what I recognize is that everyone knows what a master chief is. He's the guy in the video game who blows people up, right?
I
he's
was
the
going to
he's
tell
the
you
badass, right?
Halo.
Right,
Yes.
right. I always tell everybody, have you played Halo? Well, I'm the real Master Chief, right? So it's a good 5-minute elevator speech. But to honestly understand what that is in the civilian world, and understanding how to translate that and find value in it.
Hmm.
The fact of the matter is, and this is a fact, there are more college degrees in the enlisted community than in the entire officer community. I
Yep.
mean, obviously it's by numbers, but realize that doers, which are enlisted, and thinkers, which are officers, doers can become thinkers, deep thinkers. They're always thinkers. You and me both. You were an ST. I was a fire controlman. I went
Yep.
through 2 years of schooling before I even got to the fleet.
Yep. Like a year
We
and a
are
half for me.
we're
Yep.
overeducated, right? And then
Hmm.
we go to college and get our degrees while we're in, and we get out, and then people don't know what to do with it. And we're going, hey, but I've got all this experience, I've got
Exactly.
all this education, and you undervalue me because you don't understand the things that I've done. Now, I know there's other people on LinkedIn that might catch this and go, yeah, but there's no yeah, but don't undervalue yourself. Understand that you will find people who do, and you
Yeah.
can find a place that you fit, right? I found
100%.
two very, very well paying jobs right out of the military. I actually, now that I know the civilian world, I actually feel that I was worth more. My boss, Captain Murphy, told me, Joe, I love you, brother. You might even be watching, because I know he liked this right before we went live. He's like, I think you're worth more than what they're paying you. And I'm like, no, this is good. I got a good paying job. And he's like, no, you're worth more than that, man. And I, got in the civilian world and went, damn it, I'm worth more than this, because I was the HR manager and I was looking around going, they're not paying me what they're paying the other HR managers. And so, but it's okay. I mean, to me, it was an entry. I was new, and that's where you got to kind of go, okay, I'm new. I'm figuring this out. I
Yes.
accept this. But if they don't recognize me over time, someone else will. And I,
And
and I,
that's a
and
thing
that's where
that
you have to accept that.
I think I noticed that is something that even, and I know we were talking like the kind of enlisted officer split,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
one thing I've noticed is that, even they don't know how to translate what they do. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like,
Yes. Yep.
everybody, it's very, it seems like everyone in the military has issues translating what they did in the military to make it into civilianese. That's why I love my friend Lori Norris. She really helped me out with my resume. She's phenomenal. She has a podcast too, but we won't talk about it because we're on
No,
another one.
yeah,
But
yeah. I think the more the merrier.
well,
So
lessons learned for vets is what civilianese. Heather's like, I love that word. But lessons learned for vets is the one that that Lori runs, and it's awesome. But to your point of being able to, value yourself. Sometimes I feel that the enlisted undervalue and the officers overvalue
yeah,
sometimes.
no doubt.
And I wish there was like some kind of middle ground where everybody could be in, right? But I tell people, look, I'm not going to blow smoke up your ass, right? I want you to know that you're probably going to have to take a step back. You're not going to go in as like COO or
Right,
CEO of whatever. No, you're going to start, if maybe not at the bottom, but you're going to start at a lower level than maybe you think you're worth or that you should be
right,
in,
right.
so they can see how you do. And if you are overperforming, then heck yeah, you're going to get
Sure,
promoted. And
right.
but a lot of people don't want to take that lower, maybe that lower. I love that thought. If they don't recognize my words, someone else will. That is perfect mentality. Ashley, man, please, I don't know if you're on LinkedIn, but please hit me up. I'd love to speak with you. And you know, I mean, I'm sure that Iz has been giving you all the resources, but I got more. I got some too that I would love to assist you with, my friend, because I know I swear that I want to trademark this, and I say this all the time that I want to trademark it, but I call the transition out of the military a roller coaster of emotion, because one day you're like, yes, I can, well, for Iz, I can grow out my beard, I can change my hair color, right? I call it freedom beard and freedom
Freedom
hair,
beard,
right?
yeah, that's
Okay,
what I
freedom
call
beard and
this.
freedom hair.
Yeah,
So, now you can change, do whatever you want, you can wear whatever you want. But then the other side of that, you're so happy to do that. And the other side of that is, holy crap, what do I wear? I've been wearing the same outfit for 20 plus years. What do I wear now? Like, what is business casual? Like, what is business professional? What is
right.
oh, there's another one that's like, it's not business casual, it's like cowboy casual, or I don't know. I mean, there's tons of
Wow.
different ones that you that are you can wear depending on where you're going. And I mean, there's so many things to learn coming out of the military, and it can be overwhelming. It really can. I mean, there's 45,000 plus nonprofits that are out there, probably closer to 50 now. I mean, just there's so many out there, and it's about picking and choosing, which ones are the best ones for you. I mean, one of the first ones that I went through or went to was Vets to Industry. They do online networking, and I think that is a huge, huge part about finding your next place, is doing that networking either online or in person. So the Vets Industry does it. The Key, which is the Key Mentor Group, um, that is run by Samantha and Ray Domingo. They also do in-person and online networking events, more in-person ones like here. I don't know about Ohio. I think there might actually be one in Ohio, but Veterans Beer Club, I want to say that there is one in like Dayton or something. Do you want me to
Okay.
look it up?
Dayton's a ways away, but
Is it?
sure, it's a
Okay.
motorcycle ride, I guess. Be a nice trip.
But I mean, I know here in Cali they have a bunch. Oh yes, American Corporate Partners, 100% is
Yeah, I just
American.
wanted to plug them.
They're phenomenal. And
Yes,
Veterati is
I
another
just
one.
registered with Veterati actually,
As a mentor or mentee?
with as a mentor.
Good, 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 good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the difference between the two of those, for anybody out there that doesn't know, American Corporate Partners is a year-long mentorship. You get connected with, somebody usually in like a Fortune 500 or even higher company. Um, and then Veterati is an hour phone call. And there are so many mentors on there. You could probably do one a day for a year, like no joke.
Yeah.
What I recommend is to do the Veterati first. Once you figure out exactly what it is that you want to do, once you find your purpose and what that job is or that career is that you want to do, then go to ACP, because they will connect you with the
Right.
person that you tell them like that you want to be. So if you want to be an HR, business partner, like let's say Iz wants to be an HRBP, they're going to connect him, but maybe with like a CHRO from a company, or a global HR or whatever. Let's see. Ashley calls it his morning stage, running a galley at RTC, still mentoring. Uh,
Oh, wow.
oh,
I didn't know that's where you were, Ashley. That's cool, man. That is super cool. You still get to see that every day. Oh, that place is magic. That place is pure magic. I miss it.
that is cool.
I miss it. I semi got invited to back to boot camp this year. I say semi because sometimes you get the half invite. Hey, it's not planned out. I'll let you know what's going to happen. And
Right.
crickets. But they did. They're trying to reinvigorate, I guess, back to boot camp. And I was invited back, which I have not been back to RTC since I left there. So it would be
Right.
that would be
Gosh,
pretty awesome for me.
that's been like 26 years since I mean, if I count the 2 that I've been out, it's
Yeah.
been, and it's funny because I actually grew up for a little bit in Illinois, before before I went into the military. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I wish that we
Oh,
still had the boot camp out here in California. Let's see. If you search on what companies hire the most veterans, lots of, yeah, Tessa, that's definitely true. One thing that I recommend though, is look for not veteran friendly, look for veteran ready. Big difference. Veteran
huh.
friendly, okay? Veteran friendly is like, oh, we love veterans. Veteran ready is we have a pathway. You come in, this is the whatever months of training we're going to give you. Then you'll get promoted to this position, yada yada yada, right? That is a veteran ready company. And there's,
That's
you
great
know,
advice. I've never
quite a
heard
few
that.
of them. I
Wow.
mean, you just have to look. I mean, just a couple that come to mind are like Cox and Wells Fargo and Bank of America. I mean, yeah, veteran ready is it's a big difference between veteran friendly and veteran ready.
Very cool. All right. Well, I don't want to drag it on too long. We could probably talk for another hour or two.
At least.
There's so much information. It's just, and I think here's I'm going to give a piece of advice, and then I'm going to hand it over to you for closing. But I would say that there is until it's like anything else. Until you actually experience it, you have no idea what you're headed into.
Yep.
With transition. I would say in a leadership aspect, all my military brothers and sisters out there, you're ready. Now, figuring out what you want to be when you grow up is a completely different animal. Me personally, I've gone from HR manager to project manager, which are like the two things that any senior enlisted leader, I think, has the capability and experience to do. And now I've written a resume for personal trainer. So, you could go all over the place, and just make sure that you're paying attention to how you write that resume and make it specific for highlight the parts of your career that apply, and take out the stuff that doesn't really, because they don't. As a personal trainer, nobody cares whether or not I have a 8,000 hour journeyman card in electronics mechanic, but they do care that I ran the Navy's only boot camp for 3 years. So, those are the kind of things that you can look at your resume and use certain things. So have that master resume out there that's 5 to 10 pages long, and then you just plug out those bullets that work for what job you're applying for. So
Absolutely. And if you're looking for a master resume, I highly recommend Hire Heroes USA.
oh, that was the other one. Yeah, they did
Yeah, I,
great.
I I sent them like, I don't know, 10 plus years of my evals, just redacted my social and stuff. And yeah, when I was like, man, I don't know what to write. So I ended up giving them that information. Um, and yeah, they came back with like this huge long master resume. I dropped my LinkedIn and my what is that? My website. I'm like, what is that called?
Oh yeah.
In the private chat is so I don't know if you can put it in the comments,
Yeah.
but yeah, I would love if anybody wants to connect with me on LinkedIn. I am always available, and then that is the website. Military Women's Collective is the website that for my nonprofit. One that we didn't talk about, which you said we're closing it out,
Yeah,
is
no, go ahead.
is 4 block.
Okay.
You want to talk a great, oh my gosh. So like it's 11 weeks long, okay? You can do either in person if you're near a city where we offer it, you can do it in person or you can do it virtually by region. Um, our next iteration, our next semester is going to be September, so around the week of September 11th to the last week of November. And our applications are going to open up next month in April. I so recommend it because you're creating those networking relationships. All of our all of the all of the weeks that we do get hosted by a company, and those companies talk about the topic that our students are learning. So let's say it's resumes. How do you craft a resume? What are the do's and don'ts that for a resume? Which kind should you use? Is it chronological? Is it functional? Is it a combo? All of these things, and it's I really enjoy working for 4 block because I get to meet, people like myself and like you every single day and tell them it's gonna be okay. You're gonna be all right. We got you. And if I don't got you, then I can give you resources of people that will get you. You know what I mean? It's that
Yeah.
whole I got your six thing, right? I mean,
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's for me, I'm trying to find a way to bridge that into, that's where I love you mean it comes from for me is, the way that I treated everyone, at least I tried, I know it didn't come across completely as a command master chief, but it never will as a leader to everyone. You're never going to connect with 100% of the people all the
right.
time. And, but in my heart of hearts, I did care for every single person I ever served with, still do. And, um, that's the bridge I'm trying to build from across not just the military, but with the people I interact with in the civilian world. They
Definitely.
find out, wow, okay, well, he was a vet and he leads this way. Maybe that will add value if I can find someone like him for my organization, that kind of thing. So, love you mean it is about treating everybody you see with dignity and respect, and literally caring about seeing them be successful in life, and hoping that they have a wonderful, not just a good day, but a wonderful journey.
Yeah.
So anyway, any last words because again, we could be talking for the next 2 hours. So
We totally could. I mean, what we'll probably end up doing is like turning off the recording and then just keep talking afterwards.
I did that, it's funny. I was just telling somebody we'll keep talking on here for a second, but,
My
I
pleasure, actually.
yeah, I did that with a couple weeks ago with Gavin Stevens from the Cleveland Cavaliers, and we had a wonderful conversation both on camera and off camera. But I would tell you that probably the better conversation was off camera, and I would say, and this is a good leadership thing for everyone. Love you too, brother. I would say that he as a leader in an organization can't have open conversations about certain things,
Hmm.
right? And it's true. I get it, because your opinion, no matter how right it might be, could cost an organization not just money, but capital. And what I mean by capital is by trust, and and not everyone sees things the same way, and some things are tinderbox conversations that are probably best not on camera. That's
Hmm.
my best leadership advice I could give, is that you can have your opinion, and it's not putting a mask on. It's just choosing not to have the conversation. And I respect that. I think that I it was something I had to learn. What didn't get me here got me isn't going to get you there, and so on. What got you here isn't going to get you there. That's part of the lesson, is that you can be abrasive and in people's faces and say what you believe is right, but you have to understand that there are consequences that don't just impact you and your career, but impact the organization. And that's where, right? I mean, think about the Migpon saying something, and it being taken wrong, even though it's not what he meant. Boy, did Russ live that, right?
Hmm.
Um, or the Secretary of the Navy that got fired, who was dumb enough to talking to one MC and it get recorded, right? Or so on and so forth. So even though you think you're having an adult conversation with a bunch of adults, sometimes it's just better left not talked about, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, it's not that leaders hide things. It's just that it's sometimes it's like talking about religion at Thanksgiving. Probably not a good idea. Or talking politics at Thanksgiving.
Yeah, those are
Some
the
people,
two things that I never talk about, is religion and politics with
right,
anybody
right.
else.
I mean,
Like my husband, fine, but other people, yeah, it's a downward spiral of no, thank you.
right, right. Yeah. Okay. So over to you. Last words, or
um, Reach out to me if you're transitioning out of the military. If you're a veteran, especially if you're a woman veteran, hit me up, and I would love to be, of service and help you out.
all right. Well, I just this is a horrible parting shot because it's going to keep us on. Chick Chiefs. So
Oh,
yeah. So I always hated the Chick Chief photos. Always hated them. So I would always photobomb them.
hi.
Why? Well, because if the guys had their own photo, it would probably not be appropriate, right? So it's just. But understand this, and the reason I say this is because I probably didn't only photobomb it because I hated it. I probably photobombed it because I
You were
envied it.
jealous, don't
I
lie.
envied it. I
Yeah,
envied it, not
yes.
jealous.
You
I
wanted you wanted to be a part of the Chick Chief
well,
crew.
I was raised by nothing but women. So
There you
all
go.
of my heroes in life, my
He's admitting it
mom,
to himself, y'all. He
I
is.
well,
He's admitting it to
I admitted
himself. He
it in my
wanted to be a
retirement
part of the
speech.
crew.
I retired it. I admitted it in my uh
Heather
I love my wife. But
is look
no,
good with all those ladies.
I I yeah, I'm gonna let you go. Sorry, but uh, some of the best leaders. This is my parting shot. Some of the best leaders I ever had in the military were women. So for those of you who have not had the benefit of female leadership, seek it out, because it is a special thing that I believe men and women are truly different, and guys have
Mm,
things to offer and women have things to offer. And I would say that in leadership, women have a something that men can gravitate to and learn a lot from, because we are different. And
empathy.
learning, well, I know some I knew some women had zero empathy, so
That is
no.
true. That is true.
But what I would say is, because we're different, and we have a lot to learn from each other, especially in leadership.
Oh, absolutely.
And I would say gravitate towards that, as a, I don't care where you are in life, gravitate towards each other and help each other out and mentor each other. So
Always
all
be
right,
learning.
I will leave it there. Let me take you off for a sec. Hey, motivators, hey, I appreciate you sticking around for us, especially over an hour if you're still here. Believe it or not, this episode is the longest one I've ever had, and it's actually had the most viewership today. So thanks for sticking around and so much interaction in the chat and the comments. It's something I'm adding to the podcast. The more people that participate, I even have the ability now to pull people in. So I don't know if I'm going to quite do that yet, but the comments are great, and I love having the conversation with the audience as we go along, because it really adds to the depth of the conversation, and then we get to hit the things that you want to hear. So thanks again for joining us. Thanks again to Marina. Thanks for such a great, deep conversation, honest, open, candid. That was wonderful. And I really look forward to the next episode of a Leadership Jam Session. Love you, mean it, motivate. See you later.